Dude. Okay, here we are. The third episode of Tunes and Brews. And this time, joined with me, I'm not riding solo. I didn't bring Todd this time, even though he's a great man and I love him very much. But this time, I brought the person that you all know, that you all love. He goes by many different names. There's so many different renditions of this, but he's like a fine wine. No matter how many versions there are, they're still absolutely delicious, and you want to rub it all over your body. His name is Rob.
What's up? When paired correctly, yes, I can be quite something.
We are here to talk about two albums, one that I picked, one that Rob picked. We're going to dissect it a little bit. We're going to talk about why we love them and stuff like that. So initially, I guess first let's get to the beer, right? Rob, you are drinking.
Let's keep it professional.
You're right. You are drinking Pacific Pineapple from Two Towns Ciderhouse. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
It's an unfiltered pineapple cider, and what it's telling me is it's juicy and tropical. Pacific pineapple rolls ripe Costa. That doesn't sound right. I think I read it wrong. Pacific pineapple rolls ripe Costa Rica golden pineapples into fresh pressed Northwest apples.
Mm-hmm.
This refreshingly juicy and easy drinking session cider will relax your state of mind, no matter your locale. 5% on the ABVs. 12 fluid ounces on the can size.
Great. See, not so easy to always reading the descriptions, is it, Rob?
I always respected you, but I was going to get, I'm not going to not call you out when things go wrong. I still read it wrong the second time.
I am drinking something from your neck of the woods, Robert. I am drinking something from Mason Aleworks. It is called HopSmash. They are from San Diego, California. It is a double dry hopped hazy double IPA with Mosaic and Galaxy hops. Juicy, citrus, and passion fruit notes combine on this beast. 8% ABV. Says 0 on the IBUs. It's got... Huh?
Do you have the can?
I do, and it's pretty cool. It's got like a Hulk-looking motherfucker on it.
Oh, yeah, nice. Skeletor Hulk. Something.
Yeah, it's cool.
Hulk, I don't know how to put those two words together, but it looks like Hulk with a Skeletor face.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. So, dive in. Let us know what you think. How was yours? You don't even have it poured yet. Unprofessional.
I'm going straight from the can on this one.
Oh, wow.
It tastes like aluminum. No, I'm joking. It's very good. It's very the pineapple is not overwhelming the cider.
Mm-hmm.
On the first sip, it's very refreshing. This is good for a hot day or a day that you want to relax. And I got a massage today, so I'm right in that headspace.
How was that? How was your massage?
It was very good.
Yeah,
it's the perfect mix of pain and relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want out of my massages.
Was the masseuse a dude?
No.
No,
not this time. 90% of the time, it's not.
Okay. Are you a frequent customer at this establishment?
I go I want to go like once a month. If I could, I'd go every 2 weeks.
I've never had a massage like professional, but that's cool.
They're nice.
We're here to talk about music. We're here to talk about some albums that we picked out. Both of them that we picked out are from within the last year, less than a year, 2022. I had a hard time figuring out which one I wanted to talk about. There's so many great albums that are important to me from my upbringing and all that I wanted to talk about. I sent you 3 different ones. You listened to the second one I gave you, which is great.
I never even saw the first one.
The first one I wanted you to listen to was Real Big Fish. Turn the radio off.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. And then I was like, no, and I knew you had a pick, and your album was from 2022. I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna pick something newer too, and talk about like my current state of mind, I guess. But this band does have some ties to my younger days, I guess. I picked a band called Near Beer. Their record S/T. It came out on July 15th, 2022. 10 songs, 34 minutes, 2 seconds. And it's a very, I would say, a very independent band. I don't know that a lot of people necessarily listen to them. They're really good. So the singer, I believe his name is Joey, he used to have a band called the Henry Clay People, which I was a big fan of. And if you listen to the Henry Clay People, you're familiar with the Henry Clay People, Near Beer is going to sound pretty familiar to you then. The sound of like that they produce is going to be familiar to, the Henry Clay People. But in my opinion, I think Near Beer is a little more... I love the Henry Clay People. They put out some really good albums, but I think Near Beer has like a little better sound to them. A little more like, mature kind of sound. And so when I found out that they had this band, I listened to it and I fell in love with this record. I listened to it a lot over the summer. Landscaping. The Henry Clay People I saw, I think I only saw them twice. One time I discovered them, if you will, at Summerfest in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We went there really early because we were going to see Alkaline Trio, and the Henry Clay People played on that stage. This was a long time ago. And I really liked them. Picked up some of their records, and then I got to see them again at Riot Fest in like, I don't even know how old I was. I was probably like 22, maybe 23. I'm not really sure, but so yeah, like I said, I was very excited to hear that some new music from similar people were there. The album starts off with a song called "Yelling at a Dog," which I yell at some dogs every once in a while. And Rob, I don't know what your stance is, but when if you're going to listen to an album, I don't necessarily like singles. I like taking albums in as a whole. I like individual songs a lot of times, but I like listening to the process from beginning to start.
I'm the same full album guy
because it's like, the album it's a collective, it's a thing, and sometimes it tells stories, sometimes whatever. But and the placement of the songs are always, in a way, strategic. I would like to think, they're not just randomly shuffled. There's a reason for this one is here, this one's there. Yelling at a Dog, first song, it's good. I'm always under the impression that you got to have a first good song that you're like, if you're putting the needle at the edge of the record on the A side, that first track has got to suck you in, and gosh darn it, this one does. I really like it. The singing is unique in a way. It's kind of like this talking, singing type of sound. I don't know if you picked up on that a little bit. I would say that was more like really, if you listen to Henry Clay People, you'll really hear it. Here again, I think it's more singy than it is like talky. But it's still really, really good. It's got just like, it's not a punk band. They're not a punk band. They're like, they're just like kind of like a rock band.
I would say so you sent me this band to listen to at something like 11:30 today, my time. I didn't receive that text message. I didn't get the notification until like 1:30. And then I had the massage, so I only got to listen to it all the way through once. I went back and listened to a couple songs that I did enjoy, because but I did notice that I definitely wouldn't put this in a punk category. It honestly it gave me like a kind of like old school Moneen meets old school Wilco.
Yeah.
Meets Blink-182 a little bit in terms of just like the which is not a bad trio to homage them with, and I'm not saying that they were trying to do that, but that like I heard notes of those things in there. And one of my big things, and I know that I'm the one that's wrong on this, because so many people have listened to music that I listen to, and they go like, I don't like the singer, I don't like the singer. And then I listen, like I really just don't like. I something about the way that bands in this genre sing,
Mm-hmm.
it turns me off. And I was really trying not to, like, because I'm a lyric guy and I like to listen to that, to the words. And um, there were times where this overcame that, where I was like, oh, I still like this song. I'll put this on a playlist. I will say, like, right off the bat, I was like, this would be a good band to see live. They've got like the energy that they have. Uh, I did enjoy that.
Yeah, it's good. And then I mean, it leads to, like I said, it's 10 songs. Um, I think their first single that they released was, then they do have an EP as well. But I think the first single that they had was, it was Yelling at a Dog. So their opening, song. The next single that they had that they featured was Mixtape Generation, which is the first song that I heard from them. And
Okay.
that's not till halfway through the record. I think song number 5 is Mixtape Generation, which I really really dug. I also really liked Dead Drummers, and I think to a degree, and we'll talk about this when we get to your record a little bit. Some of the songs kind of blend together. They have a similar sound, but I think they have some songs, like a lot of it when you describe it. I wouldn't say any of their songs are like super super fast,
No,
or
no,
anything.
not
Like
at all.
they're
I
kind
wouldn't
of
say
like
that.
in that. I would say like I would put this in more like of a chill aspect of it. But um, mixtape generation and Dead Drummers a little bit kind of pick it up a little bit. So it's not
Hmm.
just like this consistent slowness. It does, it has its ebbs, its flows, and that's what I really liked about it. Really, like, a lot of the times that the records I'm going to pick for these shows are going to be records from when I was in high school or younger, that I've continued to listen to here. This is less than a year old, but it's a band that I'd like to see live, like you said, and a band that I think could do some pretty good work. The Henry Clay people were doing really well, and then just some things changed. But
I Yeah. Like Dead Drummers, I did get into, but I would say, like when Headlights came on, I did like that song a lot. Um,
my favorite song is
and then
Whiskey and Wine.
Whiskey Wine. I was gonna say that's the song that I caught myself going like, this is a good song. I really like that song. In terms of the album, that's got to be my favorite. Celsius Man was good too. The Ender.
Yeah, and this.
But Whiskey Wine, there were some lines in there where I was like, oh, that's because I was talking to my roommate about doing this show,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I don't know what to say. Music is a big part of who I am, and as it is for all of us, But it's like at the same time, like I know I listen to music through, and it filters through my shit that I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking in my head. So like for me to explain why something is good or bad, it's totally coming from only my perspective. I'm not looking at it technically. I'm not looking at it about the hook or the chorus or
Yeah.
radio play or profitability. All these things that you can chart what makes a song good and what makes a song bad. It just has to. I have to be able to identify with it. And Whiskey Wine was definitely one that I was like. It kind of took me back to the time I was drinking a lot of whiskey. I wasn't in the greatest mindset. And then like there's even there's a line in there about the love you leave behind, like, and then when you make a change or whatever. And it made me think of the people I left back in Wisconsin. And it's a good song. It's definitely one people should check out
It is.
if they.
And this is like a record that, so I listened to it a lot when I was landscaping, especially on like the days where it's hotter than shit. The humidity is through the roof, and I'm just sweating buckets. I just have no energy. But then like I could listen to this and kind of just zone out a little bit, relax in the tunes, do the work, and that's why I really enjoy it. And I think like this is like a record that I will throw on like when I'm not like looking to like get hyped and like jump around and shit like that, but I'm looking just to, you know, I always picture like, you're riding off into the sunset with the windows down and there's a
It's to
breeze.
keep to keep a good mindset.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
absolutely.
doesn't need to make you jump around, but you don't want it to make you sad either. Like it's just to keep you in a good headspace. And I was walking, listening to it, and I was like, this is, like I've kind of started to understand that type of music a little bit more through A, being out here in California, B, going to more live shows, and C, of all things, Beat Saber, which like playing that, like I all of a sudden like there's so many songs on there that are like these upbeat type songs that I normally wouldn't listen to, but I was like, oh, I get it now because it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I don't have to listen to the lyrics. I don't have to. It just makes me feel good.
Well, they're from
And I'm
Los
not saying that.
Angeles.
And I'm not saying that this album is one that you like you shouldn't listen to the lyrics, because there are good lyrics in there, and it's but it is like I would put it in that category of it just keeps you on a good mindset, like the rhythm of it and the beat of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're from Los Angeles, so they might put on a show near you, and you could go. You could easily go see them. Yeah, so I mean they have some. So there's Joey from the Henry Clay people. I think he's kind of like really the founder, frontman, writes all the tunes and everything like that. They have some people from some other bands that I'm not familiar with, I think. But they kind of like give their influence to the Replacements a little bit, which I guess I could see that. Pavement, and they say a chime of Tom Petty and the Byrds, and then with the adrenaline of the Descendants and the Buzzcocks thrown into it. With the Descendants, yeah, I could. Back in the day, in the early punk scene, I don't know if you've ever listened to the Descendants. I'm sure you've heard some songs by them.
I've heard some songs, yeah.
But a band that I would say is not that fast, that doesn't play that fast. But back in the day, in early punk, like it was, people were like blown away. They're just like, it was like when the Ramones came out, they're just like, holy crap, like music is playing so, it's fast, it's loud. And it's like, it's really not. If only they knew years later.
Yeah, Motorhead was coming down the pipeline, then Pantera, or I don't know the timeline that this stuff comes out on, but I just know like I've always been interested in the fact that it's like what would happen if Jonah, say, your baby boy, you didn't expose him to any music except for like the first couple of years. It was you'd only give him pre-Elvis, and then when you got to like 4, you give him Elvis, and then you give him like the beat, like slowly work him in. But then like at like maybe once the Beatles come, like you get to that point, and then you're just like, and this is Pantera. Like, would it blow his mind? Like
yeah, there's like, okay, and here are the Ramones or the Clash, and people are just like, oh my god. But
even listening to the Clash, it's like they're not like some fast band.
They were back then, though.
But back then they were, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's a good album. I don't know if they're gonna play any shows anytime soon. I'm pretty sure they have a Facebook page. Yep, they do.
I would think that they would have, if that was an album from 2022, I would think that they would still be playing shows.
I think it started as like just like a thing. They're just like some buddies got together and like let's make make this album, and they did. They haven't posted since January. So
it is January.
You're right. But before that, yeah,
it was yesterday, Drew.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's just good stuff, man. I really like it. ST stands for self-titled. I'm stupid. So
I didn't get that. I was literally going through all the things that S/T could mean, and that was not on my radar. S-T, maybe I would have came up with that, maybe, but I doubt it. Like,
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's good, and it reminds me of like, and that's the one thing I loved about the Henry Clay people too. Like if you listen, my favorite song by them is "End of an Empire," so I suggest you should listen to that. Like Henry Clay people has like that old, like just like kind of like old school rock and roll sound to it, in my opinion. Um, that's like that mixes like kind of like bends the genres a little bit, and I think that like I said that carried over into this album, which is awesome. It's you know, guitar driven, sing songs you can sing along. You know, learn the words. You can sing along to it at the shows. Um, yeah, if you like the Replacements, I would say yeah.
I
Give,
just put some replacements on my list of things to listen to.
yeah. So I gave
But I haven't listened really too much yet. I only a couple songs.
well, you'll be happy to hear this, and we can transition into yours. The singer of Near Beer also credits Built to Spill um, as like influence on him as well.
I heard some. I didn't want to say that, but in some of the guitar work, I heard some like light Built to Spill esque. Um,
Spilled.
yeah, you were built for it.
I
Oh
really did. I really
yes.
did spill though. Anyways, go ahead.
But yeah, I was like, oh, this sound like there's some tones here that are very familiar, and some like runs, and it is very guitar driven, which Built to Spill is also guitar driven.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah,
And that's
and it's like there's so many bands that that fall by the wayside for me that are in that genre of I wouldn't even say it's in the genre of these guys, because these guys I think are better, but it's like just one step removed, where it's like this the singer is what just totally ruins it for me. The lyrics are good, the music is good, but the way the singer did, like remember that time when like these bands that were coming out, and it was like they're all singing in like falsetto, high pitched, like whiny bitches. I don't know what to. I don't know. Like I feel like maybe Fall Out Boy is one of those.
sure.
And I'm not putting this band in that category, but I'm just saying like
I was
those
gonna say
bands
they're
ruin.
Near Beer is
I'm
nothing
not,
like these people.
and like I said, I'm not putting these because I like this. That's a big difference, but really, it's just like those bands ruined any band that when I hear like that, like whenever I hear even a tinge of that in the vocalists register, like how they're singing, I'm just like, nope, don't want to. I don't want anything to do with it. And this, like, I will say, like, this got a little close to that with just the vocal, like the way the guy sang. And he's not in there. Like I said, I like it. But it was just like I was like, oh man, please don't be one of these. And
What
I
was
think that's
that?
what it just turns me off to a lot of bands that I think fit into good music categories, but I just overlook them.
Yeah. Well, I okay. So let's kick it off. So one of the reasons I went to Near Beer after listening to the Built to Spill record that you picked was because I was like, I don't know. I think it's good to have two completely different records, but I also think there's some power in having a similar type of thing. You know what I mean? And that's why I went with Near Beer. But you picked. You can talk about it. What album did you pick? Built to Spill, obviously.
I don't have the time, but the exact seconds that this album is, but
I do.
it's Built to Spill, When the Wind Forgets Your Name.
It
It's
is
their newest album.
released on September 9th, 2022. 9 songs only, 45 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yeah, they got longer songs than Near Beer.
That's okay.
Uh, like I was torn between a few different albums, because like there's albums from back when that I've been listening to a lot again, and that had big impacts on me when I was younger, and then there's albums I just found this year that have impacted me since I've come out to California. But I had to go with my reliable Built to Spill, because this album came out and it reinvigorated my love for the band. Like their last couple album, or their last album, I really didn't listen to very much. I've since gone back and gone like, holy shit, this was a great album too. I just missed the point. Like it didn't it didn't register on my frequency when I first got it. And like, you know, it's which for more band information, like Doug Marsh is the main guy in Built to Spill. They go back to, I think they formed in like 1989. They did a few albums where they were rotating people, musicians. Then like they got into a set group for, you know, for like 4 albums or maybe 5. This album marks the them leaving their label, which was Warner Brothers, and they were on Warner Brothers for most of their albums because they won Independent Album of the Year back when they did Ultimate Alternative Waivers, and got picked up by Warner Brothers. Had a really good deal with them because like they had no, like, they had full creative control. They didn't have to write radio songs. They didn't have, like, the guy who was like the vice president at Warner Brothers in that department liked them so much he gave them this sweet record deal where they just got to do what they wanted to do. But this album marks the change where they went to a Portland-based producer or studio.
Yeah, it
And
says
it
here,
really,
it says just Built to Spill Recording Company Inc. So yeah, independent. They own this, and
yeah, and I didn't even know if they owned it. I heard that it was. I read stories about it being somewhere based in Portland
that's
area.
probably where they recorded.
But and it's like, so he brought in 2 musicians from bands that he liked to be his backing band, and then when he went on tour, he brought 2 different musicians, and their bands were his opening act.
Okay.
But this album really like harkens back. Like, you can hear every Built to Spill album leading up to this album in this album. Like he really went back to some of his roots. It's 90s alt rock. It's and like just the way that it was. Some of it, like the last album was a little overproduced for some people. There's No Enemy was really well produced, but it was produced, which if you go back and listen to like There's Nothing Wrong with Love, like that's it's a very raw record, but it's really good. This has like both of those aspects in it. And you know, like one of the things that for me, like, and this is just for me personally, I hear things in Built to Spill that when I talk to other Built to Spill fans, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about, or I get what you're saying, but that's not how I heard it. And a lot of that for me is like my past with addiction and recovery moving forward. There's like a whole run of songs on this album that are like my anthem at this point. Spiderwebs through Comes a Day, the last half of the album, because you get into Spiderwebs, which is like talking about like being okay in this rut, and then Never All Right is talking about how like to me what I hear is it's what it feels like to be an addict or to know an addict, where you know, it's like it's never enough. It's not, you can't get to where you're going to or whatever. And then you go from Never All Right into All Right, which is the next song, which is that's the recovery stage of how you can change your life if you just make that choice. And then Comes a Day is just like a great ending to like a cap on the whole thing about coming at it from the perspective of somebody who's gone through those revelatory changes. And you're dealing with somebody else that has the same problems. Because I think like one of the lines in there is like, you know, I'll open up for you, but I'm not your parachute. I can't keep you from falling. It's like it literally, it's just like there's this whole arc at the end of that album that's so good. But once again, I don't know if that exists or if it's just something that I may make. Like, I'm connecting dots with my brain that aren't there. I don't know.
You're so much more like prolific with your connection than I was. I listened to this album when I landscape. I was mowing lawn and trimming the bushes. And
the smell of freshly cut grass really enhances the music.
I listened to Whiskey and Wine, and it did remind me of some sad moments in my life, honestly.
No, it did for me too. It did. Whiskey and Wine was definitely one that I was like, we got to talk about this one because it is just a great line. Wine is for lovers, whiskey's for loving pain. You know, like lovers of pain or whatever. Like it's so true. Just in terms of like the imagery that it conjures up. Whether you're a whiskey drinker and you don't love pain or not doesn't matter. It still conjures up the image.
Mm-hmm. So some of my notes for your Built to Spill record. Okay.
All right.
And this is coming from a person who is not versed in the world of Built to Spill. Okay, I think really the only other album I've listened to by them is Keep It Like a Secret.
It's a great album, yeah.
So I didn't really like go back and listen to it that much, but from what I remember, I was like, this sounds a little different than their other stuff. To a degree.
It was a change. Like like a lot of people put those out, like the Perfect From Now On through Ancient Melodies. Even some people put You in Reverse and Keep It Like a Secret all in this like little box because that's when he had the same like band.
Sure.
But if you go back and listen to those albums, they are all different in their own.
Yeah, I bet they are. So I made this note that Elements is the first song to sound different than the other ones.
I'll say the first three songs really do have this like
similar tone, similar feel to it.
Yeah. But I love all of them because like I said, I'm a lyric guy. But like Elements it marks the midpoint kind of in the album, and it changes from there.
Yeah, that's what I said. So my note is like verbatim is Elements first song to sound different, and then to me that's where the album kicks off. Like this is where it starts changing up a little bit, sounding different. I liked the song Fool's Gold was pretty good.
Fool's Gold is so good, yeah.
I have Rocksteady is my favorite, and that like breaks it up because rather than going from kind of guitar driven, which it still kind of is, but it's got that sweet like upfront bass line.
That bass line
that's driving the song. I thought that was kind of neat. And then
Rocksteady took me a few listens to actually like.
Yeah.
Like it's weird how that'll happen with some Built to Spill songs for me, where it's like at first I'm just like, oh, this doesn't really, it wasn't Built to Spill to me because it was so bass heavy and but then when I like after a few listens I was like, no, this song really is really good. But Elements is so different from that. Like it really does, like it cuts that album into like a pie where it's like the first half of the pie is apple and then you get like all the rest of it is variety.
I don't know, and I don't know how it would be on the vinyl, but I'm like, if you would have like those first 4 songs on there ending with the A side with Elements, then like that gives you a reason to flip it over and be like, okay, I need to listen to because now things are changing. So you flip it over, and then I didn't dissect the lyrics like you did. I just gave it a listen through once.
That's all I could do with your album too, and it's like, I mean, I tried like the ones that I made a note. These go back and re-listen to these songs because this hit you a certain way, and that's where like Celsius Man and Whiskey Wine or Wine Whiskey like came back. Where I was like, okay, and then make it a point to try and remember those lines so that I can bring them up.
Yeah, and then of course they end the Built to Spill record ends with the longest song, ends with some funky noises, and
a lot of their albums do actually. As you go back through, like
it's kind of
normally
like,
the last song is,
I would say like
epic, like kind of.
It reminds me of like kind of how like Bright Eyes formats their records. Like they always kind of start with like, it's not like it's a song, but there's this slow build to the song.
Yeah.
Like I think of Casadega, it's a person talking or whatever, and then all of a sudden like there's all this kind of like clutter of noises breaks into a song.
Well, does Casadega? I thought that I know I'm Wide Awake. It's Morning starts that way with the airplane song, or where he's talking like talking about the guy on the airplane.
Yeah. But then I forget what the new one's called from Bright Eyes, which is really good though.
I stopped listening after Casadega.
Oh. Really? Why?
Yeah, they're like, I let bands go. I haven't listened to anything new from Radiohead or Wilco, or like I get to a certain point where I'm like, you guys have perfected it. I like Radiohead's someday I might need, but Built to Spill is one where it's like that. I always go back and continue. I don't know why that is, but
no, you should listen to New Bright Eyes. It's good. I like it.
I will.
Good.
Yeah, I will.
Damn right you will.
Well, Casadega was just so country to me that I was like, and I really liked like. The Cleanse song and stuff like that, but it just like I was like, this is
Four Winds
and Four Winds is great. I mean, honestly, since I did go back and listen to that album like a couple years after it came out, and I was like, this actually every song on here is really good. And I do really like this album, but I didn't continue on with it. And it's not, I have no problem with where they go, where any band goes, especially bands I like. Like I like the fact that they try new things. But sometimes I just don't remember to go back and check out their new stuff. You know,
I hear you. Yeah, no, you kind of go in and out, but yeah, I mean, I would have to listen to this Built to Spill record again. I'm gonna go out there and say, you know, like kind of your quarrels with the singing I kind of had with this.
a lot of people do, and that's why I'm saying, like, I know that, like, a lot of the stuff I listen to, people are like, "What?" Like, I mean, even when it comes down to like when you want to get back into my roots, like when I was like 4 years old, like Bob Dylan is what I loved. Bob Dylan, you know, when my parents would put on Bob Dylan, it's like a lot, and Neil Young, and
Well, yeah,
people shit on the lyric on the vocal talents of those two people so much, but it just beat something into my brain where it's like, I like bad vocalists,
I do
and I
too.
don't like good ones, you know, or
I
something.
mean,
I don't know what it is. They're good. Like, it's good to me. That's all that matters.
I mean, I listen to Rancid a lot. Tim Armstrong is not a good singer, but I love his voice. Like, you know, like
It's there's something, like, I think that maybe we're stumbling onto something, because to me it's like you can hear some type of emotion or some type of something in raw, like on like where it's like I don't want it to be this Play-Doh molded
yeah.
spaghetti.
It
I
doesn't always,
want it to be rough, you know, like.
and that's like the cool thing about music, especially like non-mainstream music. And I don't want to sound like a hipster or whatever, but it's like there's so much like better shit than what's on the radio, and a lot like people are turned off because they're like, oh yeah, the singing sucks. And it's like, well, it really doesn't. Like if you know, listen to, like you said, like all these different aspects of it, and that's what makes it good. And then like because it sounds different than everything else that you're listening to, that's why it's good.
Yeah. They're not claiming to be like Rihanna or Adele or Tina Turner, you know, like these are divas, right? They're the ones that hit the high
Is
notes.
Tina Turner dead?
Probably
I think
is
she
my
is.
answer.
I
Yeah, I think Tina Turner. I think didn't Ike do something to her,
yeah, it wasn't. I don't
or
think
Bobby?
he didn't. Ike didn't kill her, but
Yeah, but he got her hooked back on the drugs that would kill her. I thought.
isn't
Isn't
that
that?
Whitney
Am I wrong
Houston,
about
dude?
this?
Whitney Houston, that was Bobby Brown.
Oh, I'm thinking of Whitney Houston. Okay.
Oh, she's still alive. She's 83. Holy shit, that's wild, dude.
Yeah. She's probably still touring. I don't know.
I hope not. Willie Nelson still
But
tours, so you know Tina Turner could too.
yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so either way, I didn't mean to get us off on a tangent like that. But yeah, it's like there's something about like an like that's why Neva to Nova is so good. Like you can hear the pain that he's like singing in the vocal chords, and then it's matched so well with the music, which that's for another time or whatever. But I won't talk about it because I didn't make you listen to that one. But
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
the next time we talk records, and maybe you can get a head start on it because maybe we can do one relatively soon. You gotta listen to Doctor Album by No Trigger.
okay, you got to send me. Is that the one you sent me?
Yeah,
The third one.
yeah. I don't know how you feel about it, but I love it.
Well,
It's
this is one thing that's interesting to me. Like, there's so many things that me and you like go completely like right down the center, like where we're on the same page about, and then there's these things where we're like so far apart. And music is kind of one of those things where it's like, the like you know it's music soda type. And honestly, the way to tell, like the way we tell jokes, I feel like we have the same sense of humor, but the way we get to telling a joke is so different, and that's what I love about it personally, about the way that you tell jokes. But you know, it's like you don't seem to fancy so much about how other people react, but I love it. But
You act like
it's like there's
I tell a joke and nobody laughs. People laugh. People laugh at
no
my
people
joke that I
do it.
said.
I didn't say people didn't laugh. I said your take on it is that like because you always come back and you're like, it's like da 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 da, and I go, yeah, but it was funny. You just have an interesting way of telling a joke.
I guess, but the no trigger
It's
record.
not. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not a It's not a criticism, and it's not a. What's the opposite of an insult? It's not an insult either. To me, I'm giving you a compliment. It just doesn't sound like that.
All right.
I don't know if that's a good argument for what I'm saying. Like, are you allowed to do that? Like, it sounds like an insult, but I swear it's a compliment.
Perhaps, but the no trigger record. From my understanding, most of the songs were written while they were microdosing on acid.
Oh,
and
interesting.
It's awesome. It's really good. It's nothing like the two records we just talked about.
I'll check it out. And if we want to do another, which depending upon what it sounds like, I can get like if we do that and like the Neva de Novo one, like those would be probably two completely different.
I want you to listen to that. I want you to listen to that record, Dr. Album by No Trigger, and then I want you to pick a different band and pick like something that, is different, way different.
Okay,
if you can,
I can do that.
If you can, so
I can. You know what? I did. I pulled the trigger, and now I pay for ad-free music.
Good.
Yeah.
So now you have no trigger. Hey-o.
Yeah. Yes.
And you can listen to their other stuff too, because Dr. Album is like way different than their other two full lengths. But it's I love it so much. I listen to it all the time. Okay. Well, how much of your drink did you have?
Not much. Half maybe.
I spilled a little bit of it, of mine. Mine, it's good. It's like it's been a minute, Rob, since I've had like an IPA that I'm like, God damn, this is delicious. And this one wasn't one of those either. So it's it's good. I like it. I really love the artwork. That's part of the reason I was drawn to it. Is I do love the comic artwork on it. It's a good IPA. I would drink it again, but like I'm looking for ones where I'm just like sip it and I'm like, holy buckets.
You should see if you can get Expatriate.
Huh?
You should try and find Expatriate. See if you can get that out.
Is that a brewery?
No, it's a beer. It's an IPA. It's really good.
I have another one from Mason Aleworks. That's like a sour IPA. I didn't pick that one today because I have an ulcer on my bottom of my tongue. That I can't.
Drink. That's like sweet tarts. They don't make that better.
I can't drink coffee for a while. I'm pretty sure I have a sensitivity to coffie, which is a real bummer. So it's like I just drink it every day and live with this pain under my tongue for like, because it comes and it lasts for like a week, then goes away, and then a couple months later it's back. So yeah,
and
my day really dragged, and I'm not like it's crazy. I'll drink coffee in the morning, go the rest of the day. Or like I really like felt the effect of not having coffee today. I was like tired as shit.
I think yesterday it was so I went to the Zigzag show on Saturday night.
Yeah, how was that?
It was really good. Mm-hmm. It was really fun. I uploaded a video if you want to see on Instagram. Not necessarily my type of music once again, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it live. But the next day, so I only had like 3 pints from like 8 until 1 in the morning. So not
like your built to spill experience.
No, I was trying to avoid all memory of the aftermath of that experience.
Yeah.
But the next day I woke up and I had the headache and I was like, I feel like shit kind of. And I was like kind of up and down and sleeping on and off. And finally, like, I was like, this headache just won't go away. And 4:00 in the afternoon rolls around. I was like, I haven't had any coffee today. And as soon as I went and had a cup of coffee, I was like, oh, I feel a lot better. Like, I didn't feel great still, but I felt a lot better, which was good because I got called into work. And, but I made it through.
Well, would you say you would drink your cider?
I would say if you're a fan of cider,
Mm-hmm.
like alcoholic cider, this is good. For the pineapple apple cider, the like mix
Mm-hmm.
is really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I've just become accustomed to beer now, where I like that the hop taste or whatever it is that's not in the cider. This is a little too sweet.
Look how far you've come.
I
You
know,
you were
right?
like you weren't a beer person at all. You were a recovering drug addict, and I forced you to start drinking beer,
Yes, you
which
did.
is what a real good person does. Oh, you struggle with substances? Here's a beer.
Yeah, that's
Um,
called a Wisconsin friend.
well, thankfully, you manage. You can enjoy one vice without it snowballing into another, and that's what
No,
makes.
and yeah, and I luckily I also still just so for your peace of mind, I have people out here that keep an eye on that. Many people that ask like, hey, so this isn't going to bother you, like whatever, like
Yeah,
um, so
good.
but it doesn't. I really think I went through and did the rehab the right way. Whatever I did was right.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
One of the few times I can say that.
Before we go, we have new merch on our TeePublic site. You can access our link tree when you go to our Instagram or our Facebook. Our Instagram handle, I think, is Dudes with Brews Pod. If you look up Dudes with Brews on the Porch, you'll be able to find it. You can follow it. You can go to our TeePublic. We got a Burbank Bob shirt. 3 of them have sold. We have a Wisconsin-centric T-shirts, Forever Miller Park, for the Brewers, and we have one that's called the Drink Freak in honor of the Greek Freak for the Milwaukee Bucks, along with the new Strange Brew T-shirt and the
Can I just say real quick
yeah.
that new Strange Brew is bomb.
Yep.
You can skip over the Burbank Bob shirt
No,
and
you
go
gotta
right
get
for
it.
the Strange Brew.
I made all the shirts.
Yeah, yes, Drew did all
So
of the work
as
as
always.
always.
No.
And and you know, me being the generous guy I am, I don't ask for a proceed. It goes right back to the guy who did put in the hard work. He's got the sweat on his brow. These are great T-shirt designs.
We make next to no money on those. Just
Yeah,
so
well, but still, so I've given you next to no money.
we don't even make. We make a little over. Yeah, I don't know. We make $2 on a T-shirt. That's it. But people can buy them. Sticker.
So
You
help
get
us out
stickers.
and buy a million.
Get a mug. Get a sticker. Get a shirt. Get a tote bag. Whatever it is that you want. Just get the word out for this goddamn podcast, okay? Because we need more people to listen, and a good amount of people do listen. But I'd like some more. You can follow us on Twitter.
I will say, by the time we record the next episode, I will have gotten the ones that I ordered, so I'll
Me
be
too.
able to attest to their quality. I can say TeePublic did a great job with the laptop bag that you got was really cool. The sweatshirt that I have that I'm wearing right now is amazing. Mm-hmm. So I like everything I've gotten or seen from TeePublic is good quality.
Yeah, just know. They set the prices. We don't. It's on-demand printing. It's just convenient. So I don't want to have 800 boxes full of stuff, shipping it out to nobody. So yeah, buy some stuff if you want to. Follow us, pimp us out. We're on TikTok now. We don't have any videos up, but eventually we will. I have an idea for the first one. It's going to happen at Brewfest this Saturday. Rob's not coming because he doesn't live here, so I'm bringing his brother. So it's going to be fun. But yeah, we're on TikTok. Follow us there, and my brother is going to man that and help us hopefully get some people to some new listeners. But yeah, outside of that, that's all I got.
Yeah, I got nothing. Nothing to plug yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
God bless America.
Where we're at.
Toodaloo.
Yeah, later.